Big Star 1000 with another installment of Obscure Classics. I'm hoping this series is inspiring people to go get things. It's very easy to be complacent when it comes to music and listen to the same thing day in, day out, and you know, I'm hoping it gets people reaching out of the box. Not that, I mean, most people who probably watch this are probably people reaching out of the box, and in a way I am too when I watch your videos that you put out and you present things that I haven't heard of, or I'm always interested, and I'm a lifelong learner. Anyway, and I must say that today I reached 100 subscribers as well, so I hope that there's a handful at least of people who subscribe to my channel who enjoy what I do, and that value what I provide, the sort of service I'm providing. Anyway, today this Obscure Classic 22 is a fantastic jazz LP. It's called the Rubaiyat of Dorothy Ashby. This is the front cover. This is a reissue on the Cadet label. Cadet label, yeah, the Cadet record. I was surprised to learn the other day that Rudy's Chess Records, the great Chicago label, had to be renamed Cadet because there was another company already called Chess. So if you see anything on Chess Records, Cadet Records is the same thing. Lots of blues, lots of Chicago blues they were releasing. Anyway, this was released in 1970, and an original copy of this is worth a lot of money. It's a very highly prized record amongst beat diggers and crate diggers and people who are producers, and so is this one too, which I could have featured as an obscure classic, but I think the other one is more appropriate for this series. Anyway, Rubaiyat of Dorothy Ashby. What's a rubaiyat? Because you can't stay a Philistine forever, you need to know. Rubaiyat is a Persian word, so from Iran, describing a collection of poetry. So it's like a poetry anthology. And so this is just an album of spiritual jazz, in the same vein as what Coltrane was doing. Alice Coltrane, you know, that record Journey in Satchinadananda, or things like Pharoah Sanders were doing. But obviously with Pharoah Sanders, you know, you've got to be able to take the assault of free jazz blasting out of the speakers. This is not really free jazz, this is spiritual jazz, with a little bit of a funk tinge to it, with great beats. Dorothy Ashby was one of the two women that helped popularize the use of the harp in jazz, especially in sort of bebop, hard bop context, because it wasn't a very credible instrument. She started off as a pianist, and when she went to university she switched to the harp, and she produced a number of records. And as I said, the Afro harping one is a very prized record because it contains some of the most mind-blowing jazz harp you ever likely to hear. And this record here is one of the last records that she made, and arguably her masterpiece, her best record. She after she finished uni, she started touring and she started making records as a trio. Her husband, John Ashby, was the drummer, I think, and they toured and toured and toured and made records. And then this was made with session musicians, and it's very interesting because it's not only there's not only harp there, but there is lots of things going on. There's flutes, there's saxes, there's vibes, and she plays this really interesting Japanese instrument. It's called a koto, and I don't know. I mean, never really heard of that instrument, but it really sounds cool on the records. So the other thing that's interesting about this record is that she sings on it as well, which, you know, and she's got a very sweet, mellow jazz voice. You know, we're not talking, you know, something really cheesy or anything like, you know, these sort of new jazzy kind of singers that we've got these days. We're talking really classy, sort of in the vein of Nina Simone perhaps, or in the vein of I don't know, you know, really classic jazz. I mean, you know, not and I mean, every song is great, you know, goes without saying. There are spoken words bits where she, and this is the idea of the rubaiyat, because there's a bit of the poetry there, and I don't know if you can hear in the background, there is the closing track, which is arguably one of the greatest closing tracks of any album. It's called The Moving Finger, and it starts with a spoken word piece. It's kind of unsettling, but it's brilliant, and it's punctuated with fuzz guitar, which, you know, and some great beats. Man, the beats are they're just, and it's kind of an oddity on the record. It's just the closing track is the funkiest thing on the whole record. However, the rest of the record is really, really interesting jazz interspersed with flute solos and lots of really clever piano solos. It's got everything. It's a bit of jazz, a bit of soul, a bit of funk. You know, it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of a mixture of, it's almost a soul album, a soul LP, you know. Yeah, it's just a wonderful record. I don't know if it'll appeal to everybody. You know, you gotta like jazz to start with, but she just does it really, really, really well, and uses the various instruments really well. And yeah, and there's harp on it. Okay, and it's great. It's a great record. I don't know if I've conveyed this well enough, but anyway, that's all really. Okay, very easy to find these days, reissued. You probably want $10–15 to buy this on eBay. There's plenty of places who have it. So it's me for Obscure Classic number 22, Dorothy Ashby.